This is the Our Voice 360 podcast, our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. This podcast was created with you in mind. On Our Voice 360, we'll give you inspiration, sports, business and leadership tips, Black history, and entertainment. This is a show built from our perspectives. So if you're ready to be entertained, inspired, laugh a little, be informed, and enlightened, tune in now to Our Voice 360. Let's go. Hey, folks, welcome back to another edition of Our Voice 360, our perspectives, our ways. I'm your man, Chad Bumgarner, and I have with me my man, Pete Hunt.
What's good, family?
All right, Pete, with that, let's go ahead and get into it, my brother.
And as always, our podcast is brought to you by Elect Graphics and Photography. Allow your visions to become reality, and CDB Consulting. Great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you have something you want to hear us discuss on the podcast, something you want us to probably go more in depth or hear our opinions about, or tell us if you like or don't like, either way, email us at our email address at ourvoice360@gmail.com. That's ourvoice360@gmail.com. All right, folks, we're going to get into it today. We're touching on some very colorful comments, or no, let me just be real, some ignorant comments by Jim Bakker from long ago. Seems like he has resurrected himself and says some things that make him look even more crazy. So we're gonna talk about what he said and what he's talking about, and then we're gonna move into the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, Mr. Dan Patrick, who is so eloquently blaming African Americans for spreading the virus, which truly is not the case, since we only make up 12 to 14% of the population here. But I digress. I mean, we're going to be talking about a lot of ignorance today and how it's affecting the Black and brown community. And then we're going to end with, the book of the week, and also the Black inventor of the week, and the Bible verse. So, all right, Pete, let's go ahead and get into it. Jim Bakker. So he has resurrected himself. And okay, what is he? What is he saying now?
Let's get into this. And I'm going to read a quote from Jim Bakker. And let me start. And I quote, "How can you go to church and pray when you're wearing a mask? Do you think God can hear your prayers through your mask?" He's asking a question. End quote. Chad, I've heard some dumb things in my life, and this is right up here. Jim, come on now. Come on, televangelist. Baker, come on. It boggles my mind that these televangelists and ministers and preachers and of a certain hue are going out of their way to basically say, I don't need to wear your mask or your vaccine because Jesus is my vaccine. I get where you're coming from. I got it. I get it. I get the gist of what you're saying, but God did make doctors and medicines and things of that ilk. And I'm not here to tell you to do one thing or the other. That's your business. That's your decision, and do what you want to. But please, if get information from credible people.
Yeah, go to the scientists.
Yeah. Jim Bakker's not the one. What are we talking about, Jim?
We're talking about is to me, he's trying to make this spiritual or religious, just like the politicians are trying to make it political. It's neither or neither, however you want to say it. This is a health issue, a severe health issue, not political, not spiritual. It's an health issue. So with that, you're not gonna build a house and try to put your plumbing in by calling an electrician. You're gonna call a plumber, somebody who does that stuff for a living. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to this virus, why are we listening to these people who don't have degrees or any kind of study in there of virology in their background? Why are we listening to everyone except the scientists? Now, I do know you're going to have a lot of people out there saying, well, the CDC has been lying. They haven't been credible. Okay. All right. But there's more than just the CDC out here. There are a lot of doctors and scientists and virologists that we can study and pull up and reach out to in various forms on the internet and other aspects to get the information that we need. I'm pretty sure if we search hard enough, there's somebody in our family or extended family that's in healthcare and can put us in the right direction as far as who to contact and where to get, pertinent information. I mean, come on, if you're going to build a house. Go ahead. It just kills me how itchy ears, which are a lot of Americans, they just itching to hear something that agrees with them instead of searching for the truth. Mm-hmm. If you know anything about the truth in this life, the truth always hurts some kind of way. Sometimes it feels good. Sometimes, but a lot of times the truth ain't really what you want, but it's what you need. Mm-hmm. And people need to stop with the itchy ears trying to hear something that aligns to what they feel or agree with. It's not about what you feel or agree with. It's about the truth. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just confused, and I'm just just floored that a lot of Christian folk are taking this stance. I don't understand the stance that they're taking. Well, if you wear a mask to my church, you can't come to my church. You can't. You sit in your car. What is is Greg something? I can't remember this preacher's name. He's very pro old boy, and and so he's one of those ministers. But that quote just kind of just lets you know where we stand in this country and how divided that we are when it comes to the coronavirus and this pandemic. Mm-hmm. This is split this country in two, as far as people who want to take the vaccine or have taken the vaccine, and the people who refuse to take the vaccine, which, like, again, that's your business. Mm-hmm. You do you. But we can't go out here and just say that wearing a mask doesn't work, or this, that, and the third, because even if we're not even talking about COVID, flu has gone down since this pandemic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It had an effect on, other illnesses, airborne illnesses, because people wore masks.
Right.
So you can't say it's not effective. And I understand you want to do you. I get it. But my thing is, stop being selfish.
See, you just hit the nail right on the head. Pete, say that again. Stop being selfish.
It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about your fellow human being. And for Jim Bakker, who claims to be a Christian, isn't that what your words say that you read? I mean, isn't that some of the basis of the Bible that you read, or the Christianity religion that you follow?
You know what, Pete? I think we talked about this on the last podcast, and I was paraphrasing loosely at that, about and I can't remember where it was, but it was saying not to well, let me give the example. If you and I were at a bar and you knew I was in AA, you're not gonna sit there and order a drink.
Right.
Because that's temptation for me to fall back, in my old ways. Right. You know what I'm saying? you're being thoughtful enough. Well, this is my brother. I love him. I don't want to see him fall back. I'm gonna order a Sprite or a water or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're being mindful of others.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, that's what the specific scripture I'm talking about. That's what it was saying. We as people always need to be mindful of others, so to speak. So, like you said, if you get the vaccine, if you don't, that's your business. That's your right. But at least be mindful of others and wear a mask out in public.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for the other people around you who are doing that. So we can try to control the spread of this virus and this virus as a whole. Can you do that? I mean, but it's like you said, a lot of people are being selfish. It's my rights. It's my this. It's my that. But we're a country. We all live together. So it's just like with your kid. I don't agree with it, but I'm gonna be mindful of my child or my friend or my dad or whoever, and do this as a gesture of respect for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where you're coming from, how I see it. That's where you're coming from, and that's what I'm trying to say too. I mean, it's not about you. It's about each other collectively. So regardless of where you stand on this thing,
right.
Just wear the mask.
Yeah.
Just wear the mask and be mindful of other people.
Yeah, it's just really shown, this pandemic has really shown a light on really what this country has always been about.
Mm-hmm.
It really has. It's just shown a light on, the selfishness of this country and how really divided we really are. That you can't wear a mask. We can't even come together in agreement that if we wear a mask, minus the vaccine, if we wear a mask, it'll help us have a healthier, or have us be in a healthier state.
But you know what, Pete? The thing is that the thing that hurts me is the fact that you really don't even need science at this point. And let me tell you why. My daughters just started school last week, I believe was this. They just finished their second week of school. First week of school, they already had reports of kids popping up with the virus.
Mm-hmm.
So then they moved to what they call a hybrid system, to whereas each class is divided into half. Let's say you got 30 students. 15 of you are group A, 15 of you are group B. Now, group A comes to school on Mondays and Tuesdays while group B stays home and Zooms in. Wednesday, I believe, everybody stays home. And then Thursday and Friday, group B comes in and group A stays home and Zooms in. Now, I say that because when you started school, you had no cases. But because the mask is not mandated, it's strongly encouraged. You have those parents. My child's not wearing the mask. Okay. Now we have cases all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And now this week, the second week of school, it has gotten worse.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need science to tell you what's going on. If you would wear the mask, we can kind of control this thing and get it to the point where we can, control it and hopefully, I don't want to say eradicate, but possibly. I mean, we did with other diseases. I mean, it's funny. I was reading a meme the other day. It said, you know what? We have a vaccine for hepatitis A and B. We've got one for whooping cough. We got one for so many other things.
Mm-hmm.
But now this one comes about and everybody's like, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. I'm like, every vaccine has a side effect. As an adult, if you don't know this, I don't know what to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Chad speaking for Chad. Let me say that. The only thing that's 100% in my mind is Jesus. Everything else is suspect and has somewhat of a side effect. I mean, it just is what it is. Nothing is 100%. We should know this.
Mm-hmm.
We should know this. But I just wanted to say that about the school thing. It's like, you don't even need science at this point. I mean, a week ago when school started in Florida, first week of school, over 100 kids had to go home with the virus.
No, and it's well over that now. So
it's well over. Yeah. And school hadn't even been in a whole month yet.
Yeah.
And now they're down there fighting about, I guess, mask mandate. And the governor, DeSantis, he's quite the character. He's trying to say, and I don't want to go too much off point. I know we're talking about Jim Baker, but we're talking about ignorance when it comes to the virus.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it plays in the same ballpark. But he's trying to say that, he's not going to mandate the mask because, I guess the left is trying to make it more political, or, they're trying to line the pockets of the people who are making the medicine or something like that. It's not, the focus is not really on the health of the child. It's more along the lines of making it political, or putting money in the pockets of the vaccine makers. But I digress. Jim Baker is to me, it's like a Custer's last stand. I mean, he's really trying to stay relevant in the way I'm looking at it. And this is the same dude that got sued for selling fake coronavirus cures, I guess.
And this was after he went to prison.
Right.
So he got out of prison and he still was trying to hustle.
Make money. Mm. If the man went to jail, what was it? Embezzlement? Was that what it was?
Yeah, something to that.
Something like that.
And many years ago, yeah.
Right. And now well, not now, but he got sued for selling some fake cures for COVID. And then he's saying that the Lord can't hear your prayer through a mask. I mean, folks, if you're not lining up the dots on this dude.
Snake oil salesman. That's what the old folks used
to call.
The old folks call them. Yeah, the old folks called them snake oil salesman. I mean, and it just puts a bad light on the Christian faith, if that's what you claim to follow, because we have many religions and many people follow different religions, and that's their choice.
Right.
But we're speaking specifically of the Christian religion right now. It's just but it's a lot of those guys and gals in that hustling business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can name plenty of them right now, and it probably upsets some folk because if you really look at it for what it is, I mean, you got a lot of cats out here that's that's really out here just hustling and using Christianity as the base of their hustle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can I name names? Or do I need to leave that alone?
Yeah, let's leave that alone, Pete.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let's leave that alone.
I don't want to, get sued or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
let's leave that alone.
But yeah. So yeah, I mean, just the statement of that foolish statement, because from what I growing up, with a father that's a pastor and a mother on her way to heaven, and it's just, I've always been told that God is omnipresent. He's omniscient. What's the word? Omniscient. What's the word? Yeah, whatever that word is.
Omnipotent?
Yeah, omnipotent. There you go. Yeah, he's all of those things, right? So a mask shouldn't stop you from hearing from God, right? I mean, when you're in the church house and you go up to the pulpit, the pastor may sometimes say a prayer to yourself, so where only you and Jesus can hear. I mean,
so you telling me when the deacon's up there humming,
yeah,
the Lord can't understand?
I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. They say that humming confuses the devil because he don't understand what you're saying, but the spirit
All right,
does.
preacher. All right, preacher.
Okay, but I'm gonna bring that back. Don't make me channel my forest. Don't make me channel my forest.
Right? I know, right?
Shout out, brother Forrest.
but for real, I mean, it's crazy to me to hear people that claim to be one thing and put a governor on God or the God you serve. Come on now.
Well, see, that already lets me know that you're not serving the God I serve, because you can't limit him.
Okay. All right. Well, we're not gonna turn this into
no, because it's going that way.
It's going that way, but I'm just it's just crazy to me that to hear some of these thoughts from these people who claim to be followers of Christianity and followers of Christ, that to have all of these limitations now because you want to fit because your political leanings and your religious leanings are kind of matched, so you have to play that facade and keep that going. Right now, Chad, it's a sad state where we're in right now.
It is
when it comes to especially this virus and this pandemic has uncovered a lot of ugliness.
But you know what? But that bothers me. It's the fact that, and I know you have the right to freedom of speech, but when you have a platform, especially if you're a pastor of any religion, a politician, whatever, somebody like you and I on a podcast,
right?
Everybody pretty much has a platform now because they have this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, and I understand you can state your opinions. Everybody has them. They're like elbows and feet. Everybody's got them. I get that. But my thing is, when you hold a position of authority and power, and I know I'm asking for the impossible, but you should really do your best to be responsible with the content that you put out there. You know what I mean? Because you've got some gullible people out here, like I said earlier, who are just itching to hear somebody else with a bigger platform than them aligning to what they believe, instead of really giving truth. And when I say truth, I'm saying when you're talking in the correct context and you have documental proof. Can I say documental? And you have proof to back up what you're saying. See, you and I, what we're doing on this podcast is we're talking based on what we've read and how we feel. It's part what we've read and part opinion. I can say that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, this podcast is also, I think I can speak for you, Pete, where we try to give you the whole deal. We try to give you both sides, and then we throw in our opinions. But at the end of the day, we just want our listeners and viewers to be more enlightened about a specific topic and understand the whole view as best as possible, instead of trying to slang or, peddle one particular slanted view.
Oh, good word, peddle. I like that.
You know what I'm saying? There are some people and some things that I don't like, but at the same time, I will give them credit where credit is due. I may not like it, but I try my best to be fair about any and all things. Sometimes that's hard, but at the same time, if you want people to be fair with you, you've got to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that because I'm really ashamed of Jim Bakker, but it's not a shock to me. You know what I'm saying? That, and especially with him being up in age, it seemed like you would have a reflection point and be like, you know what? I'm really not being truthful with the people that are following me, or am I being truthful to myself? And I get it. We all fall short. I'm no different. But brother, all I can say is, like I said with the other dude, is it worth it? I hope it's worth it for you. I hope the check is worth it. Bakker, I hope it's worth it.
I mean, it's stop hustling. That's all I'm saying. Stop hustling. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just it's crazy. It's crazy that you would even allow that to come out of your face. Why would you even allow that to come out of your face? But that's the times we're living in now. It's a clickbait, type of society we're in right now. That, like you said, Chad, if you have a platform, a large platform, and if you have enough people that have the same mindset that you have, you can say any and everything. You can say any and everything, but you got to remember there's consequences to the things that you say. In most cases. In most cases,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, Pete, let's move on to another Joker of the week. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Now this clown, yeah, I called him a clown. Maybe I shouldn't have, but when he said what he said, it kind of pissed me off because again, this is another person with a huge platform who is in this situation, man. I don't think you have the right or the ability to just spurt out what you feel because you represent Democrats, Republicans, and independents. You represent Black, white, Latino, Chinese, Asian. You represent the entire state. And that includes all types of people: gay, straight, trans, black, white, orange, yellow, left, right, middle, the whole gamut. You are responsible or represent all of these types of people and many more as lieutenant governor. So for you to come out of your mouth without any empirical facts stating that blaming the COVID surge down in Texas on African Americans who have not been vaccinated. You're just going to come out of your mouth and just say, well, the spread is because of African Americans not being vaccinated. And this is the same guy who previously blamed the spike on undocumented immigrants crossing the border and denied that state policies contributed to the surge. Now, this is what was said on NBC News. So before it was undocumented people crossing the border that was spreading it. Now it's African Americans. And not one time did I see in that interview that he did on Fox have any kind of data to back that up. He just spurted out. And I'm saying, when you're in a position like that, especially a politician, you don't have the luxury of just spouting out stuff like that. Because again, like I said, you represent all different types and shades of people. When you come out with something like that so controversial, you doggone better well have some facts from, I don't know, WebMD, CDC. You better have a couple doctors on that call with you verifying it with stats and numbers and documentation that's been collected in your state. You didn't come with any of that. You just said, well, this is what I believe why we're getting the uptick. And you're just going to blame it on a group of people. You're just going to throw it out there like that. That's disrespectful. And even though I don't live in Texas, it kind of pissed me off because it was like, there's an issue going on. So I'm not going to deal with it head on and work with my scientists and my health departments to get to the bottom of this and figure out what we need to do. I'm going to throw it over the fence. Oh, the African Americans, they're the reason.
Let me correct you on something real quick, Chad.
Yes, sir.
He is not representing everyone in the state of Texas. He is representing no.
Okay.
He is representing a certain group of people in Texas.
Okay, by title.
That's okay. What he's doing. He's representing a certain fold of people. In Texas. So it's easy for him for it to roll off the tongue to blame the black man, woman, and child. It's easy for him to say it's undocumented immigrants that's coming across the border. That's easy for him because he's not in it to represent us as black folk or our Latino brothers and sisters. He's not in it. He's not representing them. He's representing one group of people. That's what he's representing. So he has no problem saying that because that's what his base likes to hear. The people he's actually representing, that's what they want to hear. Because of course, there's no way that good white folk, unvaccinated white folk could be spreading this. There is no possible way unmasked white people could be, passing the coronavirus to and fro across this country. It's I,
But see,
black folk.
this goes to what we were talking about off air. Remember when I was talking about a topic for another time when I was talking about imagery and symbolism? Because see, when he does this, it gives the image or the portrayal that black folks are reckless. You know what I'm saying? We're the cause of the uptick. We're just going everywhere, just like we're reckless, like we're just out just passing it out like Skittles or Tic Tacs or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the wrong ears hear that, and that's how they're gonna start. Look, that's for another time. But I'm just saying. Go ahead.
He did what he planned to do.
Yeah.
Which all of those people of that ilk do. I'm not going to look at it and take responsibility for what I do. So what I do, I'll play the blame game. I'll use the easy scapegoat of black people because black folk has been the scapegoat for how many years?
Since we got over here.
16, 19. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you know, for the people that he actually represents, who are not black people, who are not people of color, he doesn't represent those people. He represents a certain group of people that happen to be in the Republican Party. That's who he represents, and no one else. Let's not get it twisted. He's not in it for black folk or Latinos or Asians or. Nah, he's not in it for that. So that's why he can easily say a idiotic statement as it's black folk, that's unvaccinated black folk that's spreading the coronavirus. I mean, that's easy for him to say because, you know, that's what his base wants to hear because, again, Lord forbid any unvaccinated white folk spread the disease. No, we can't have that. Just like the school system in Texas. It's the same thing where they're stripping Dr. King and all these black leaders out of their school curriculum because, of course, they don't want the truth. They don't want white folk to look bad. There was no slave. There was no slaves.
Right.
They were indentured servants. They helped America, you know, this, that, and the third. They don't want the real harsh truth of what their ancestors did to my people. They don't want that. They don't want to hear the hard truth of what their people did to the Native Americans and slaughtered the Native Americans on their own land and stole their land. They don't want to hear that. Because, you know, that puts a bad light on us. That's why they portray Jesus the way they do. That man, he didn't look like that. That man came from a culture of brown people.
Here we go.
I'm just saying.
Here we go.
So when you don't want to hear the truth and you want to play the blame game and you want to make this political and you want to make it racial at the same time to please the base of people that you actually serve, it's easy for you to go to Fox News and say that.
Well, let me interject real quick, Pete, because I want to give some facts.
Okay.
Behind what the governor was saying, and it's in contradictory to what he's saying. African Americans who have had lower rates of vaccinations make up 13% of the state population and about 16% of cases, while whites and Hispanics, who make up more than 80% of the population, have accounted for about 70% of the cases, according to the statistics from the Texas Department of State and Health Services. So instead of going on there and making a phony, crazy, idiotic statement, all he had to do was call the head of the Department of Health Services in Texas. But I know it's too much like right to want to be accurate and to want to be fair.
It's not about being accurate, Chad. It's not about even wanting to be accurate. It's about I have to feed my base of people that support me some red meat, and then they don't have to feel like they've taken responsibility for anything because they out here wilding without no mask on. It's not us. There's no way it can be us. No, it's them. It's them black folk. It's those immigrants that's crossing the border. It's their fault. It cannot be us as white.
See, that is so reckless. But it's like we said, like I was saying earlier, itchy ears want to hear stuff that align to what they feel and think. And like you said, that's his base. And he's playing to his base. I hear you loud and clear, like a crystal bell. I do. But I gotta call him on his BS because
please do.
It's not right, it's not fair, and it's not accurate. When you've got all these resources at your fingertips as the lieutenant governor, it was a simple phone call to the head of the department of the State of Health Services to say, hey, look, I'm about to do an interview. Can you send me some stats on COVID as far as ethnicities or areas or regions in Georgia? In Texas, so I can put a fair and correct statement together. So when I say something, people can go out to the health services website or CDC or whatever and look it up and see that what I'm saying is backed up by stats according to A, B, and C. You know what I'm saying? But it's election year coming up too, if I'm not mistaken. And the base is he's got to rile up the base because he's got to make sure he stays seated. So there's another aspect of it. And my thing is, I guess it's a good thing. I've often thought about politics, but I've always bowed out because my thing is, in order to be a fair and just politician for Democrats, Republicans, and independents, for blacks, whites, Latinos, Asians, for trans and bi and whatever, you're not going to have that position long. You cannot be fair and have that position long. It's just not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because in order to be fair and just, there's going to be some people who are not going to like your decision. But at the same time, it goes back to what we were talking about when it comes to the virus. Be mindful of others. You don't want to see anybody backslide, so let's be mindful of others, even if you don't want to get the vaccination. But wear your mask. And I'm saying that to say that being a politician, you want to be a politician that represents the people of your city or state or whatever, not just a politician for black folk or for white folk or for rich folks or whatever. So you can't be a fair and just politician because you won't have that seat long. Is all I'm saying.
Right. And I agree. And I agree with you totally. But it's not about being fair. These cats
he's playing to his base because he wants to keep that term. Yeah. He wants to keep his seat.
And plus that's how he actually really feels. That's how he feels. I mean, those are words that, you don't utter such disrespectful words and not have some type of feeling base about it. Or that's not your truth. You see what I'm saying? So again, it's just so disrespectful.
It is
to not only black folk in Texas, but black folk across this country. So it's our fault. Nah, it don't work like that. And for all you, let me put this out here. Let me go ahead and throw this out here. For you black folk, and I don't care what your political stance is. You do you. You do whatever you want to do. But for you black Republicans out here that, stand by them folk, how many times they got to tell you how they really feel about you? I'm just saying, how many times they got to tell you what they really think about you? So now you're the cause. Unvaccinated black people are the cause of the spread of COVID in Texas, and y'all cool with that? Please don't tell me y'all cool with that. That's all I'm saying. They let you know how they feel about you. They gonna let you know. So but if you want to keep riding with that, hey, that's your business. That's on you. But they really ain't playing with you now. They just they got look, old boy done ripped the cover off. So we can say, they can say and do whatever we want to do. So I mean, they bold with it now. Batteries in their back, so they really telling you what they feel about you. So but if that's your team, don't ride with them. If that's what you do.
Like I said before, I just really hope the check was worth it, because that's really what it boils down to. Why else would you do what you're doing? Why else would you do it?
Nah, bro, I don't know. Nah, I have too much pride for my blackness to. There's no check that anybody can cut me. Nah. Mm-mm.
Oh man. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. All right. Well, I guess is that it?
Hey man, let's move on to the book of the week and the inventor of the week. I need some positive blackness right now, because that just put a bad taste in my mouth, Dan Patrick. So we need some positivity. We need some positivity to end this thing. So
We do, my brother. We do. We do. We do. All right. So the book of the week is called The ISIS Papers: The Keys to the Colors by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. I hope y'all can see that right there. This is the book of the week, and I'm going to read an insert in here. It says, I'm going to read the dedication. It says, this work is dedicated to the victims of the global system of white supremacy, racism. All non-white people worldwide, past and present, who have resolved to end this great travesty and bring justice, then peace to planet Earth. And then she has a quote in here from Neely Fuller from back in 1971. It says, if you do not understand white supremacy, racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you.
oh, good gracious of life. Ooh. For the sake, man, say that one more time, brother. I need to hear that again. Say that one more time.
The quote.
Yes,
Read
sir.
the quote. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Again, this quote is from Neely, Neely, Neely Fuller. He says, if you do not understand white supremacy, racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. So basically, he's saying you don't understand what you think you understand until you understand white supremacy.
Boy, that's been addiction right there. Let's go on past the plate. We gonna have go. Yeah, we need to go on past the plate on that one right there. We need a hymnal. Somebody sing a hymn while we.
But the key to that is, real quick, because I know we're coming up on the back end. The key to that quote basically stems back to the 16, maybe 1700s, when I forgot the I want to call him a botanist, where he invented the 5 types of people. You had the white, the black, the brown, the red, and the yellow, right? Mm-hmm. That's how he classified. And I wish I knew his name. I can't remember right now. But he classified the 5 people on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And then what he did was he categorized them. And of course, he put the white man at the top. And then, of course, we were at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And that's how actually racism came to be, because, before then, you were labeled where you lived.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where the region that you came from, or the country that you came from, regardless of your color, you were labeled as a Roman. There were black Romans in that day, blacks that lived in Rome and Greece and Italy, right? So you were labeled where you're from. It wasn't until this botanist created this list and then prioritized it, and then put the white people at the top as superior, and then of course we were inferior. But like Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said, I was watching a video on her the other day. She was on the Bill Donahue show. This is way back in the day.
Ooh, for you young folks.
And she was saying how white folks are concerned with she predicted back then that the white people would be dying out. And of course, you've seen in the news in the past year or so that they're saying that, America is about to be the minority when it comes to black and brown, and whites will be the majority. And she was saying, she predicted that back in the 70s. And she was saying that it's going to continue to happen like that because we're all intermixing, and they can't mix with another ethnicity and still create a white child. They can only stay within themselves to create, white. Now, as far as black folks, we can create anything from light bright to
from albino to midnight.
To midnight.
Yeah.
We have that ability because of the melanin. That's just a fact. It's not a bragging right. This is scientific facts. We can produce all shades of people come from us, but they can't do that. And so they're not populating at a fast enough rate. And so that's why they're going to be a majority. I think it's in the next 10, 15 years, something like that.
Minority.
Oh, excuse me. There will be a minority in the next 10 to 15 years, if I'm not mistaken. That's the reports that are being said. But her book, the ISIS papers, The Keys to the Colors, very, very good read. I do recommend this book for everybody, not just black folks, but for everybody, because Dr. Francis is a psychologist by trade. So now this whole book takes you into the psychological aspect of racism and how it plays out in government and law and finance and housing. You know what I'm saying? So she even, real quick, on the interview, she was even talking about the psychological aspect of the game of pool. Right? So the cue ball, we all know what the cue ball color is, right?
Yep.
Now you got the rest of the balls are racked. All of them are different colors. Cue ball is knocking them all out. And who do they save for last?
Yep. There you go.
So you can look at it like, oh yeah, that's a load. I mean, and you're free to feel how you want to feel or whatever. But she's a very credible source. She's been in psychologist for many, many years. She's written peer-reviewed papers. They have still yet to be refuted. So let me add that. So nobody can really downplay or debunk what she has published to this day. And again, I mean, some people might not want to hear, and it's not about bashing any kind of race. This is just facts. And that's what we, as when I say as a people in this aspect, I'm talking about people, black, white, yellow, green. We as a people really need to get back to dealing with facts. We just do, because that's the only way we're going to move forward. We really need to get back. We're getting too used to wanting to hear what we want to hear instead of saying, okay, what is the truth? And then just dealing with it.
Right.
But I think that's the only way we're going to be able to move forward. Let's just deal with the truth, deal with the facts. These are the facts. These papers, it's a collection of essays or papers that have yet to be refuted. And she wrote this back in the 70s something, I think it was. So that's what, 89, about 40, 50 years? Close to it. It's not been refuted. So let's get back to facts. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. And then we have, let's move on to the Black Inventor. I'm going to go with, I think y'all have heard of, you got the real McCoy there. You ever heard that phrase where it came from our brother Elijah McCoy? His invention was lubrication devices, being able to figure out a way to keep devices like on a train or anything that has moving parts to keep them lubricated, so you don't have to stop every 5 seconds and lubricate it. So he invented lubrication devices that smoothened and made train travel more efficient. So unable to find professional employment in this field, he had no choice but to take up a job as a firearm and an oiler for the Michigan Central Railroad. It's here where McCoy invented a lubrication cup that would eventually distribute oil on the train's engine parts, allowing it to travel continuously without stopping for maintenance. That's what I was saying earlier. Every so often the train would have to stop and you'd have to lube the joints. Well, he figured out a way to put a compartment around those joints and put the lubrication in there so that you wouldn't have to stop. You could just keep going, continuously without stopping for maintenance. Apart from this, Elijah also acquired 60 patents during his lifetime, inventing, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this. Check this out. Elijah McCoy also invented the ironing board.
Okay.
And creases is big for us growing up, especially in the South. Okay. The ironing board, lawn sprinklers. Now this brother he died in 1929. So lawn sprinklers were invented before 1929. That's amazing. Lawn sprinkler and other machines. In 1920, he established the Elijah McCoy Manufacturing Company for the production of lubricators that bore his name. So shouts out to brother Elijah McCoy.
Yes, sir.
And his inventions, like Pete always say, boy, we are great.
We are great. But our black folk are great. We are the greatest. Period.
And we don't get enough shine on our contribution, not only to America, but to the world, man. A lot of people don't know this stuff, but they use it all the time.
Yeah.
Ironing boards, lawn sprinklers. Come on, man. The lubrication cup.
Yeah.
They use that on the cars, certain aspects of the cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'm done. I'm done.
Greatness. That's all you can say.
Anything else, man?
Protect yourself, protect your family at all times. And stop being selfish, man. Put your mask on.
Please. Can you do that, poor brother?
If like I said, Chad, if not for yourself, do it for others. Do it for others. Whether you get the vaccine or not, that's your business. But at least take the steps of wearing a mask so we can, somewhat, get these numbers down since we've had this great spike in cases. Come on, man.
And try to develop a new normal, because the normal as we know it is gone. So exactly. let's get out of that and let's just try to define a new normal. But before we leave, we're going to leave you with a Bible verse of the week. And it's coming from John chapter 16, verse 33. And it reads, I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth, you will have many trials and sorrows. Amen. Let me read that again. Here on earth, you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart because I have overcome the world. John chapter 16, verse 33. Take heart. Basically, what he's saying is he has overcome the world. So he that is in me is greater than he that is in the world. So he overcame the world. We can do the same thing. All we have to do is follow his word and trust and believe. And it's funny because, and I'm not going to jump back into another conversation, but it's funny how he makes things so simple for us to say and do in order to get things done, but we got to make it complicated. No, that's too simple. No, that's what he said. That's what he said. I digress. Anyway, folks, take care. Love on each other.
Yes, sir.
Like P said, and I agree, wear your mask. If not for you, for the people around you. Do that for us. And let's try to get this virus under control. All right. Y'all stay blessed. Peace. We out.
All right. Peace.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when a new show drops. Please rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to advertise or become a sponsor, please send an email to ourvoice360@gmail.com with your inquiry. We'll connect with you as soon as possible in hopes of creating a great partnership. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Our Voice 360. Our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. See you next week.